Grade 11, Lesson 6 of Databases, Inserting into a Database for Non-SQL. Good day everybody and welcome to the 6th lesson of Grade 11 Databases. We will be looking at inserting into a database for non-SQL. Let's begin. The contents of this video. We will look at the insertion algorithm that you will follow when inserting into a database, and then we will look at some examples, specifically fixed input example and a user input example. Let's look at the algorithm. So we start, we set our cursor of the database to the last element in the database. We then set our database into the insert mode. After that, we set our selected fields equal to the input that we got. After that, we post our new record, and then we are done. So let's look at our examples. We'll look at a fixed input example, also known as a hard-coded input or static input. We'll also look at a user input example, also known as input given by a user or dynamic input. Let's look at the examples. And here we have our two examples, the fixed input and the user input. Let's begin. So, first step will be to place it in our table in last. What this means is we move our cursor to the bottom, to the last element. Then we say dm.table capetown.insert mode. So we place it in insert mode. Then we equate all of our fields to a value. We call it demo 5. Now you would do this for each table or for each field in the table that you do want to assign a value to. You will follow the same process. Just copy this over so you can see what I mean. So as I said, for each field, product name, product price, order date, quantity left, and weight, we give it a value. Now, order date, we use date to string because now will give us date and time. We only want date, so we convert date to string and we pass it in as a string. And then the last step to do is to post our value. So here we post it, so we send it back towards the database. Display over here is just a helper function to print out the database. If you're unsure how to do that, please see our video explaining how to do that. Okay, let's compile it. Okay, let's compile and run. So if we say insert, you will see demo product 5 has been added to the database with all the correct values. Okay, next let's look at the user input. So, let's just save. Okay, so you will see here we've given label edits to each field in the table. So product name, product price, quantity left, product weight, and down here this will be our order date, this calendar over here. Okay, so let's insert. Again, please note the helper function. So firstly, we place our table into last, which means it moves the cursor down to the bottom of the table to the last element. Next, let's place it into insert mode. Okay, now we need to equate each of our fields to a value. So we'll say product name dot as string And then down here we'll say the value wherever the value is coming from. In this case, label edit p name dot text. Now again, you do this for each of your fields. So let me just copy it over so I can show you. So again, each of your fields will have its own field by name and it get its own value. So you equate each to its own value. Just note, we want to send product price in as an integer, so this comes in as a string, so we convert it from string to int and then we send it in as an int. The same with quantity left and weight. Now, order date. If we just use cal order date dot date, it will give us date and time. We just want time, so we use date to string and we send it in as a string just to get rid of the time. So dm dot table dot post. Our last line as per normal. So let's compile it. Okay, here we go. So we'll call this demo 6. Product price 74. Quantity left 54. Product weight 2. We choose the 14th. There we go. So now you'll see product ID 14 has been added. Demo 6 with a price of 74. Quantity of 54. It was ordered on the 14th and the weight is 2. You have an example now of a fixed and of a dynamic input. Think of other ways you can do it. Think of how you can move data from a text file into a database, how you can move it out of a database and into a text file. Think about different ways you can get input from the user and experiment.